Hey everyone, Dan at Bushcraft. Well, it's a beautiful morning up here on the high desert of Central Oregon. It's 19 degrees, snow covered, and I am feeling great. And I promised you guys just a couple days ago that my next video would be a 2022 Bushcraft pack loadout. And as I said in my reset video, I hope you watched that, this pack and this year was going to be about my favorites. One of you guys sent a comment that I just absolutely loved on my last video saying, what a concept, just take your favorites. And I agree, that's a great concept. That is my concept for 2022. I'm just taking my favorites. So this is my loadout, and my loadout is a loadout of all the things that are my favorites. So let's get started. Okay. Let's start with the pack itself. This is my favorite pack. I've used a lot of different brands. I always come back to Spec Ops brand. This is their, I will call it the mid-size because they got an EDC, which is smaller, and an Ultimate Assault Pack, which is bigger. This is the one they simply call the pack, which stands for Tactical Holds Everything. It's a 1000 denier Cordura. It is the most rugged pack that I've ever used. Not the most comfortable, I'll tell you that up front, but the most rugged. It's designed for hard military use. What SE Knives is to knives, Spec Ops brand is to packs. Unbeatable warranty. I got a friend who took one of these overseas and he took a bullet hole through his pack, and when he got back, Spec Ops brand actually replaced his pack for him. So it's covered with, these attachment loops across the back, across the bottom, underneath, and on the sides. Heavy duty buckles, heavy duty stitching. This handle, I've carried it, I've hung it from trees, I've drug it through the brush. Use it for years. Best pack I've ever had, Spec Ops brand. Okay, so that, and then pause you guys for 1 second. I needed to get out the stuff that's on my belt. What goes on my belt is part of the pack setup. It's just that when I go out, I immediately attach it to my belt. It's never on the pack. That being my Baco saw. This is, after all the saws I've used, different kinds of silky and stuff, I still come back to the Baco. My sheaths are all done by a local leather shop here in Prineville, which is still in business. New owners just bought it. They'll be taking over next month, but it's still same title on the internet, Painted Hills Custom Leather. They still are in business, and they're still doing custom leather sheaths for anybody who wants them. Favorite knife is my SE PR4 custom sheath with a ferro rod and handles from the Knife Connection. These are the black burlap brown linen micarta handle, and that is, to this day, the SE PR4, my favorite knife to use out here. And then on my belt, I've got my Leatherman Super Tool. So these, along with my Grand Swartzbrook hatchet, make up my cutting tools that I like to have out here. And again, my favorites. After years of using this stuff in the desert, in the mountains, all year round, these are my favorites. So the Grand Swartzbrook Wildlife hatchet, my absolute favorite hatchet. So there's my combination for 2022. SE PR4 for bushcraft night, Leatherman Super Tool for multi-tool, SE PR4 knife, Baco folding saw. With those things, we will build. Okay, outside of the pack, I had my hatchet stuck right here, as you probably saw on the bottom. I got some straps attached so I can put on one of these insulate ground pads. This is super handy to have because if I'm walking in weather like this, everything is wet and cold on the ground, and I take off on a hike, every time I stop, I either gotta gather debris to sit on, travel some more, gather more debris to sit on, or this, although it's bulky, it weighs nothing. I just unroll this and it's reflective, and if I sit on that in front of a fire, it's really good at keeping my underside warm. Tarps. For the winter, spring and fall, summer, I have a different favorite, but this time of year, this is the one that Tentsmith is making. I did a video on this a while back. It is 6 foot by 8 foot oil skin canvas tarp, traditional, loops all the way around, loops on the top, loops on the underside, 6 foot by 8 foot, weighs in at about 3 pounds. So for a canvas tarp, it's not that heavy. I'm only adding 2 pounds more than I would if I was carrying my AquaQuest or something. So spread that out here and use that to set everything on. Okay, also on the outside of the pack, I got my complete first aid kit. There's a video on my site on what I carry in there. Everything to take care of bee stings, cuts, scrapes, splinters, you know, other things that may come up out here. Got my Kuxa attached to the outside. You just watch me drinking hot cocoa out of that. And I have in here, this is just a Condor pouch in multicam that goes right on the side of the Spec Ops brand pack. 40 ounce clean canteen. I always keep a carabiner on top so that I can hang this. I'll make a tripod and hang it, you know, right there in camp or something. Okay. And on the outside pouch, my favorite water filtration system. Hydro Blue water filter. Almost everything I'm showing you guys, if you go back, you'll see videos where I've tested this gear and used this gear. You'll see me using it again throughout the year. I really like the HydroFlow, or the VersaFlow, excuse me, from Hydro Blue, because it's about twice as fast as the Sawyer. I like the way they set this up. Clean water blue, dirty water gray, and you can also see through it. Right here you can see through and see how clean your filter is. And I've used this in all kinds of water and never had an issue. I use with that the Canuck water bag. Back end opens up, just scoop it up, 2 liters of water, and then my filter attaches to that. Also have surgical tubing. This is so that I can put my filter right down in the water and get a drink if I want to use my filter that way. And a short piece for setting my clean canteen underneath the filter, dropping that down in there like so. I get my gloves back on. My hands are freezing. Gonna have to do this loadout with gloves on as much as I can. Okay, last item on the outside of the pack is just a cheap shovel from Amazon. It's called a survival shovel, of all things. So if you just type in survival shovel, this pops right up. And what we got is this cool little shovel. Now, I'll tell you right off, it's a gimmick. Okay, it's supposed to be a survival shovel. Well, the saw won't saw. I've tried it. And the chopper doesn't chop anything bigger than a pencil. So it's not a survival shovel. But for a lightweight shovel for digging Dakota holes, fire pits, latrines, whatever else, this thing actually works fantastic for that. The sharpened sides, which are worthless for chopping, do an awesome job of digging, and they're super cheap on Amazon. And I've dug a couple Dakota holes, one in real hard soil, and I'm slamming it down into the ground, and no issues with it. So it's holding up and doing its job, and it's cheap. All right, let's get in to the outside pockets. Okay, my top pocket, I've got my navigation gear. I've got the Santo MC2 compass. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. Small pair of binoculars. This particular brand is Sky Genius 8x21, nothing expensive, but they work fantastic. These are crystal clear. I'm really surprised at the quality. And they're on Amazon. Most of this stuff you can find on Amazon. Other navigation gear down in here. I've always liked Coast brand for my headlamp. It's 3 different light settings. And then red, which is nice for night. And then outside turns to make your beam bigger or narrower. So that's Coast brand. I think this model is, I want to say, what, the 850, 835, something like that. They've got a lot of different models, and so you can go from 300 and some lumens on up, depending on how bright you want. And I have in here, I'll have to take my glove off somewhere, a small little O-light. I really like these because they're light, take up no room. I can put it on the brim of my hat when I have a hat out here, and it's a nice backup light to have. Other miscellaneous things that I just got shoved in here. Of course, my spork for meals. These are large canvas sail needles. If something happens and I damage the pack, really, drive a stake through it or something, I got some large canvas needles, and I can do repair work. I've got a small military sewing kit here, a small bit of cordage already with a loop in it. This is for hanging my pack. I keep it right here because when I'm out, I usually hang my pack from a tree, so I've already got a piece of cordage set so I can throw in a Marlin spike hitch and hang up the pack. What else? Batteries for the 2 lights, and a handful of my favorite bars. I've tried Cliff bars, power bars, Luna bars, different kinds. These just happen to be the ones that, for my taste, I like the best, and they are Bob's Red Mill. This one is peanut butter, banana, and oats. Peanut butter, chocolate, and oats. Can you tell I like peanut butter? And a whole bunch of these. It's my favorite. Peanut butter and jelly and oats. These are awesome. If you haven't tried them, at least give them a try. We all have different tastes, but these are great. That takes care of the top pocket. Okay. Bottom pocket. This is the SOL heat sheet that I just had up, 2 days ago, in front of that fire I did on my reset video. as you can see, I could not get it folded back up as small as it was. However, completely reusable, and I think this is the third time now it's been folded back up and put in the pack after being used. Leather gloves to keep my hands protected when I'm doing, carrying firewood and so forth. I don't, want a handful of slivers. From Self-Reliance Outfitters, that's Dave Canterbury's Pathfinder School, I have a little oilskin pouch. This is my gathering bag. I'm setting up camp and I'm gonna go out and look for materials. This is what I'm gonna take. It's got a pocket up here. I'll take those leather gloves, shove them up in here, maybe one of those food bars, and then I'll go out and I'll fill this up with wild edibles or tinder, fat wood, whatever I'm searching for. So it's cool to have something like this along that you can leave your heavy pack behind and go out and gather materials, and it folds up super small. Where would we be without toilet paper? All right, my fire starting kit's down in here. Let's see, I got a couple more things first. This is same brand as the pack, Spec Ops brand. It's called a Recon Wrap. It gets to blowing around out here, whether it be snow or in the summer dust. I'll wrap my face with this, put sunglasses on, and be protected. Also, on days when it's cool but not cold enough for a wool hat, I'll put this over my head. See a lot of the uses right there. These are really cool. Bandana, always along. Windproof, waterproof matches. Gorilla tape. Fire plugs. Bigfoot Bushcraft is my favorite. I've done videos on those, and if you guys are ever interested, you want fire plugs from Bigfoot Bushcraft, and you type in the code OCHCO15, you'll get a discount on these. Couple pieces of fat wood just to get me going if I can't find anything close. Once again, my hands are freezing. Okay, where are we at? My cordage. I'm not done with the fire kit yet, but cordage. I've got a ridge line all ready to go with a loop in it for setting up my tarp. For the rest of my cordage duties, I just prefer bank line. This is, I believe, number 36. It's the one that's about, 300 and some pounds of brake strength. Got just a bunch of it in there. Got a lighter, little case, ready to go, quick and easy. Remember, when it's below freezing, they quit working unless you warm it up by putting it in your armpit or something. Ferro rod from Uberleben, still my favorite ferro rod. And this is the spark that Sagebrush Customs made me. I really like that little sparker that Mark at Sagebrush Customs made. He's back up and doing good, by the way. Mark was actually unconscious with COVID for almost 5 weeks, almost a coma state, and was sick. But he's back up, he's home, and he's getting back in shape to do bushcraft again this year, and hopefully he'll be doing some knife work and stuff. And Mark, if you're watching, I could use another one of these sparks. And flint and steel fires. I like doing those out here. So I've got me an Altoids tin of char cloth. Got a piece of flint. I've got it wrapped up in bubble wrap so that it doesn't get little pieces broken up all over inside the pack. And I'll use the back of my knife, or I have its own striker in here as well. Last thing, I've done fires up here on the desert with a Fresnel lens, and it's pretty cool because it gets you a nice bundle of sagebrush bark and juniper bark, and get it all, you know, feathered up real good and starting a fire with the sun. It's just fun to do. It's cool, and it's a good survival skill. And lastly, I have not used this yet, but I throw it in here because it takes up no room, and it's just a compact survival fishing kit with line, hooks, sinkers, lures, and there's creeks everywhere in the Ochocos, so if I need it, it's there. All right, inside, main contents. Open everything up here. I have. Now, I left these in the pack. Normally, this is what I would have on my hands. In fact, it's what's going to be on my hands because they're so much warmer. These are just some heavy winter gloves, hot shots I pick up at Bi-Mart, and I've used them for a couple years now, and they're still in great condition. And oh, my fingers feel much better. Wool cap, obviously for this weather. A schmog, which you guys can Google these, or type it in on YouTube. Tons of videos, tons of uses. I have one in here. The little pot you just saw me cook cocoa in, and the brand on that is Snow Peak, and it's a one quart. It's 1 quart kettle from Snow Peak. Bale handle, handles on the back, pour spout. Inside, things to clean the kettle with, a stainless steel scrubber to get the black off, salt and pepper, bunch of that. My little Esbit stove, in the summer and other times when I can't have a fire, I'll cook on this Esbit stove, and it works fantastic. Or if I just don't want a fire for whatever reason, I've got fuel tabs, I've got a little piece of tin foil to set the tabs on, which just helps make less of a mess. And it'll cook up any of these meals I got in here really easy on that little Esbit stove. It doesn't take long at all. In cold weather like this, I'll just use 2 tabs and put two side by side, and I'll still have boiling water fairly quick. Okay. Last year I got myself a Swagman Roll. I got a video up on this, guys. I'm not going to take it out, but I got a video review where I put it on. I stood outside in snowy weather with an outdoor shower, pouring water down on myself, and the water just beat it up and rolled off. Woodland camo, Swagman Roll. I love this thing, and it has so many uses. And basically, that brings me down to tent stakes. I'll use these if I'm in a hurry and I don't want to carve stakes for my poncho. And shoved in the bottom, I've got a bunch of pre-made pressic loops, so I can put up my ridge line, throw my tarp up. I've got the pressic loops already made, stretch it tight, stake down the back, and if it's storming, just in a couple minutes, have a shelter up. I've got heavy duty 55-gallon drum liner. These, you've seen me sleep on these. I made a raised bed, slid 2 of these on poles, and it held my body weight, and I was able to make a bed out of it. I use it for hauling debris, making a mattress, filled with debris if everything's wet, to lay on, sit on, whatever. Lots of uses. I need to put another one in here. I should have 2 in here and not just 1. So that's my mistake when I packed up. I'll get another one in here when I get home. And in the back, insect repellent, handy wipes, sunblock. Important things to have out here if you don't want to end up with, you know, bee stings, sunburn, or infections. This is something I picked up at survivalresources.com. They're in and out of stock all the time. They call it a 72-hour bug out hygiene kit. I like having it along. It's got 1 comb, 1 bar of soap, 1 toothbrush, 2 packets of toothpaste, 18 inches of dental floss, 1 small packet of shampoo, cotton swabs, antibacterial hand wipes, and a 12-inch by 12-inch light load towel, all inside a little Ziploc, so it doesn't take up any room. And that brings me down to food, and I'll just share some of the things I like to have out here. Again, this is about having my favorites. So I'll always have a Mountain House stuck down in here for a big meal at night. Chili mac being my favorite. For the trail, jerky and trail mix. Can't go wrong with these. These are great snack items. I've always got jerky and trail mix shoved in my pack. I threw this in there because I've never had one and I want to try it. It's hot apple cobbler mix, Backpacker's Pantry. I just saw this and thought this looks like a great thing to have some night sitting by the fire. I like these little boxes of tuna salad. I've got crackers, salad, a little plastic spoon, all in the box. 2 of these, along with an energy bar or something, and I got a quick and easy trail lunch. So, and these last a couple years, so I always have these in here. A while back, I got some food from Survival? Nutrient Survival. I read the label. Nutrient Survival. And I still got a couple I haven't tried yet. Southwest Medley and Triple Mac and Cheese. I did a video on their breakfast one with eggs and potatoes, and it was really good. So I've left these in here to try out this spring. Then I'll decide if I want to order some more. Of course, remember 2 days ago, I did my cocoa, so I've still got the Milkman milk. Check out that video. And a couple packets of cocoa in here for making hot cocoa. Let's see. I've said this before, it's bad luck to go in the woods without Vienna sausages. That's just me. Let's see. These things are really cool. They are a protein cookie. 16 grams of protein in an absolute amazing cookie. They're on Amazon. They're called Monk Cookies, and there's all kinds of flavors. I've got, what is this, double dark chocolate, peanut butter chocolate chip, and coconut chip, white macadamia nut. They're kind of spendy, but I mean, 16 grams of protein, loads of calories, over 300 calories. They fill you up and give you great nutrition. I like these Green Belly Meals on the Go. 2 bars, 665 calories in this. This flavor is mango cashew coconut. They actually taste really good. Another thing I always have is several packets of Spam. Maybe at night if I'm just mixing up some pasta or rice or something, and I've got stinging nettles, which I like to boil and mix in with pastas and rices. Well, I'll chop up some Spam and throw in there too, and then I've got meat in there. So, and these last for years. These still got 2 more years life on them, and they've been in my pack since last year. And finally, just I keep a whole bunch of these in my truck. My truck always has, I've got a fire starting kit, water purification kit, emergency blanket, tools, you know, everything to survive out here in the truck, and a whole bunch of these mini meal bars. They're all shoved behind my seat. So if I'm stranded out here, I can live off these things for a week or more. And so I always throw a couple in my pack as well. They're the best tasting long-term storage bar like this that I've had. And I already talked to you about the first aid. That's it, guys. That is my 2022 loadout. Everything that I am carrying, everything that I plan to use throughout the year. When summer comes, I may swap out the canvas tarp. You've seen several videos where I've used the Bushcraft Outfitters 5 foot by 8 foot camo tarp that I have. It folds up super small, compact. I like that in the summer when I can't have fires. But when I'm gonna have fires, and like today, a big fire, I like this 6x8 Tentsmith canvas tarp close to the fire. Well, again, everything, these are my favorites. You know, back to what I said at the beginning, what a concept. A backpack filled with the stuff that's all your favorites. So that's my loadout. And I'm sure you guys, you know, have your own favorites and things that you would use. Maybe you got some ideas from me on stuff I carry. But next video, I'm feeling great. Next video, we start doing stuff. This week, I am back on working out hard, back on the weights, back on bicycle, going on long hikes. I'm just feeling better now than I have felt this entire year, and thank you, Lord, for that. And I'm ready to go. So thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for checking it out. Hope you enjoyed it, and maybe gave you some ideas of your own things to try. Take care out there.